This is a test. Right. So, welcome everybody. Welcome for the first job fair that we are organizing. Yeah, um, it's nice to see so many people out here. This one. I was hearing myself. I don't like when I hear myself. Who is participating to the bootcamp? Right, and who has not participated to do the bootcamp but is interested in part 2? who is here and wanted to participate to something else and just happened to sit down in on one of these chairs? Because not everybody. So I'll try again. Who is doing the boot camp? Right. Okay. And who is interested in part two and is sitting here? And who's looking for a job? Everybody's looking for a job. Okay, good. That's the good news because you are on a job fair. Um, Today you will see in during this short presentation, you will meet already a few companies, and you will also meet some key people who will help you run during your process of learning data science and going through the different hands-on workshops that we are doing. Yeah. So if you look at the agenda that I had in mind, if it works, it's quite easy. We're just so we want you to meet each other. We want to make sure that you mingle and that you find people with the same objectives. We want basically to create part two of the bootcamp as a self-organized bootcamp where you will have teachers coming in, giving you real-life examples of what is happening in daily business, and where you will be able to, during the bootcamp, during the Mondays and the Tuesdays of the coming 12 weeks, to learn hands-on how projects are delivered and to be confronted with different programming languages, different style of companies as well. You will meet people coming from the financial sector who have another style of people coming from the retail sector, so that you meet all these things. But most important for the boot campers here and for you is that you feel the community. Yeah, the data science community in Belgium is now something like over 3,000 people who are very active and who like to meet with each other. We were very lucky. We initiated the data science community in 2014. We had our first meetup on the 26th of March 2014, and then we started doing regular meetups. That's where we come from. We are a grassroots initiative. It's people passionate who just want to learn about data science. Remember that 4 years ago, who knew anything about data science? It was just a word invented by McKinsey saying it was going to be sexy. So we said, oh, let's do that then. And then over the years, we had more than 100 meetups organized. Over the years, we organized the Data Innovation Summit. This year, it was the 4th time that the Data Innovation Summit took place. The first 2 times it was at AXA, then we did one summit with 500 people, then at one summit at ING with 500 people. And last year, we overachieved, so we were more than 750 people assisting a full day of data science at the University of Brussels, ULB, where there were 6 parallel tracks, or even 7 parallel tracks over different topics, and one main stage with more than 40 speakers who came to talk about real projects. We are different as a data science community because we are non-commercial. We are a non-profit organization. We believe that open source is fun, but we have nothing against commercial softwares, because that's also important, because what we want to do is to serve the bigger corporations of Belgium with valuable candidates. And some financial organizations like to work with SaaS. Other retail organizations said, no, it has to be cheap, let's do it with R, and others do it with Python. So you will see during the different exercises that you'll be doing that you will use many types of software to achieve your results. Yeah? So that's the idea. Now, you are all, who is in the, so you started 7 weeks ago on the DataCamp platform to do the different exercises and to achieve your position into the leaderboard. Yeah, that's why you are here today, and you are on the bridge to move towards part 2 of the bootcamp. The idea of part 2 of the bootcamp is that this is a paid 24 days training sponsored by your future employer, and we will do everything in our that we can to find that future employer for you. Yeah. So the deal we'll have with the future employer is that whenever they hire somebody who has already registered into the bootcamp, part 2, they will have to finance the training that person has received. Now, in order to be able to start, because the employers of today are smarter than they were many years ago, so a branding is not good enough. They want to see the proof that you are good at your future job, and therefore we organize events like today so that you can have already the first introduction and the first meeting with those people. Yeah, that's quite important. And we will also pre-finance your training. So basically, if by the end of the day you sign up the memorandum of understanding that Olivier will give you, you sign up to the bootcamp part 2. If by the end of the day we will make sure that you get in contact with as many employers as possible, and we will make sure that you get as many as possible real-time life cases, business cases on how data science is used in Belgium. Yeah. So we will move from a platform like DataCamp, that was your initial platform where you learned your skills of programming, to now a training session which is hands-on, that you will have to do yourself with a human trainer that will be there. So you will have trainings on Monday and Tuesdays. Sometimes it will be a bigger business case that will take 2 days to fulfill. You will fulfill it yourself. Or sometimes it will be a business case that takes 1 day. Yeah. So in total, we believe that we will have something like 15 different business cases that you will have delivered by the end of December. On top of that, we will assist you in. So you will have access here to the House of Data Science, which is this place here, and you will be able to work on different projects. One of the projects that we are promoting a lot is a Data for Good project, which is aimed at fighting HIV, and more specifically the stress that has been created with HIV drug resistance. I will come back to that in a minute. Yeah, but there are other business cases that you can work on. Another business case that you will be able to participate to is the project that we are doing with Maggie de Blok. Maggie de Blok is the Minister of Health, and she has decided to make health data open source. So meaning that she will free up databases. For example, the first database that she's releasing is a database of prescription database from doctors. 30 years of prescription habits of all the doctors in Belgium. She will put that open source. We will, as a community, validate the anonymization of it, because next to what we are doing here, we have also launched the data protection officers. This is an association of data protection officers, which is basically the lobby of data protection people. And the DPO will validate that the anonymization has been done well. And then on 18 October, you have already the first workshop that will take place. So on top of that, we have master classes, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half master classes, nearly each day, on a specific topic, a data-related topic. Who's been to the data visualization masterclass already? Yeah. So that's the kind of masterclasses we want to organize. It's like we bring an expert who doesn't want to spend the whole day explaining what his job is, but who has 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, and then he shares basically his experience, his knowledge about a specific topic. Yeah. You as boot campers, you will be accepted in the community, and you'll be able to participate freely to all those different master classes. So you will have master classes, workshops, hands-on workshops. You will have hackathons. Now, coming back to the workshop on let me see, on HIV drug resistance. Yeah, basically we do the HIV drug resistant hackathon in 3 main parts. Yeah, for the moment we are in this part, and it's the part where we share ideas. Basically, it's a hackathon on HIV drug resistance. HIV drug resistance happens when somebody is already treated for HIV, but who is not following his prescription very carefully. So he miss out a few days of taking his medicines, or he cannot afford to take his medicines for 2 weeks. By doing that, he then creates, his body is then transformed into a recipient where that the virus can mutate easily. So basically, by not taking your prescribed medicines, and if you are treated to HIV, you create a mutated virus of HIV, which cannot really be treated with the existent medicines. So you create basically your own time bomb, where you can then give that new virus to anybody you meet, depending on your activity, but you can just, and that's seen by the World Health Organization as really the next danger for the world, basically, is and so what we want to do with the HIV hack is to map out all the areas where there are a lot of moments where people are, a lot of areas where the percentage of HIV drug resistance is high. If you know that in a certain region there is a lot of people not taking the pills and being and creating those mutated viruses, you can then send a task force and train them on the importance of taking their pills. So that's the idea of what we want to do. It's a simple work where on one side we are going to gather as much data as we can on population, wealth of a nation, the transport system, the number of apothekers, like where you get buy your medicines, the possible logistic problems that might occur, and so on. We are gathering all that data. We also know who is already treated, and then we will try to fill in the gap between so many people are treated and so many people are developing drug resistance. There is a gap there. Not all the countries are releasing their data, and so there will be a lot of data science techniques to be used to fill in these gaps. Once we have a data set that is quite okay, we will build on and make a nice visualization work so that we can visualize this area where there is the hotspots of HIV drug resistance. The team that comes up with the best way of doing all that exercise will then, so that was the hackathon in itself. So there will be a hackathon on the 23rd of November, 23rd and 24th. And then after that, we will then send the winning teams to the different countries to train and do some capacity building in the countries. So like the first country will probably be Kenya, where you will be sent for 1 week to train the local data scientists on your model you have created, and allowing them, instead of taking their data and giving them the results, now you give them the model, and they use their data and they come up with their solution. And if they don't want to share their solution, that's fine. Yeah, we're teaching them how to fish, and we don't give them fishes. That's basically the idea. So that's about that. That should be enough to motivate you to work on the workshop that we are doing tonight. And it's the workshop on HIV hack that will take place. Yeah, this workshop is sponsored and supported by Johnson & Johnson, and so you will hear me probably later today a short presentation about Johnson & Johnson. So that was my introduction. Now, just going back on the different principles. Why do we live? Why are we here? We are here to give you that hands-on experience, so that when you go for a job interview and the question is, have you used R, for example, that you can say, yeah, I use R for recommendation engine, but to do this data visualization, I don't use Shiny, I prefer to work with Python. The interviewer then will say, whoa, this guy or this girl knows, she has done it, yeah? And so if each time you get a question from the interviewer, you come up with a real example that you have already done, hands-on, then you will probably have a much higher much higher percentage of being higher. Yeah, we will also bring you in contact with companies 4C is there, and other companies will present themselves today, so that you get an idea of what do companies today look for, what kind of candidates are they looking for to hire. Yeah. Then we will organize job fairs like today. There are 3 job fairs planned. This is the first one, where you will meet those companies and that the companies will meet the candidates. Yeah. We will also help you with the hiring process. How do we do that? We will have Christina there, and she will train you on techniques to when you have on the hiring process. So she's a professional recruiter, and she will tell you what kind of questions that the recruiter will ask, and what kind of answers you have to provide. She will also help you basically feel much more comfortable with yourself when you are in front of a recruiter. That's the hiring process. And then the last point, which is the pre-financing. We will pre-finance your education with the aim of finding you a job and getting the money back from the employers and not getting the money from you. That's the idea. So this is my introduction. I would let's start probably with 4C as a first introduction, so that you can meet already one company who is recruiting.
All right. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Benoit. I work as a data scientist at 4C, and I'm here today to get to know all of you who are going to do the bootcamp, but more importantly, to show you what 4C is, what kind of projects we do, etc., so that you can see if it would be something of interest for you, and we can talk afterwards. So 4C is a CRM consulting company. Yeah, there it is. So we see ourselves as an end-to-end CRM consulting company. So the aim, what we try to do is, and that's also our slogan, we build customer companies. So what that means is that what we see is a lot of companies nowadays still are very much focused on their own products, their own services, their own internal processes. They're kind of stuck with their own internal business. Whereas the world is moving much more towards customer centricity, and basically the customer should be the main focus of all companies to do business. So we want to help them transform from product focus to being truly customer focused. And we do that through 4 big areas of expertise. So we don't just do data science or analytics projects. We have a lot of different teams ranging from designing customer companies, where it's more on a strategic level, so designing your customer strategy, designing customer journeys, designing the optimal business processes to make it efficient for customers to interact with your business, etc. So that's more strategic consulting. Once all of that is laid out, the strategy is clear, we also implement all of that, all of those ideas and strategies in CRM systems. So that's mainly, we use Salesforce. So we're a platinum partner of Salesforce, which is the biggest CRM software company in the world. And their software is very highly customizable. So that's why there's a lot of value added in consulting companies who can tweak the system towards each specific use case or strategy. Obviously, after you've set up this CRM system, there's a lot of data that's being gathered, and that's where we come in. So that's the learn team, the analytics team, or the data science team, however you want to call it. So we're gonna learn from that data to guide business decisions and actions for those companies. And then the evolve area is more coming from the fact that we don't see designing a customer company or CRM strategy as a one-off project. It's really something that has to keep evolving with new trends, with new customer needs, etc. So that's the main areas of expertise that 4C works in. Obviously, you're probably going to be most interested in the learn part or the analytics part. So I'm going to tell you a bit more about what we do. So the idea is that from all of that data that's gathered, that we're going to extract actionable insights to guide the business in their decision taking. The team we have for that is also quite varied. So we have a lot of people with a background in economics, like myself, and who later on studied statistics or machine learning, and that's how we got into the data science. But a lot of our backgrounds are in economics. Some other people come from IT or studied statistics from the first place, or even there's someone with a PhD in astronomy. So we got really a lot of different profiles in our team, which also makes for the fact that everyone kind of has its own expertise. So even within the analytics team, some people are more interested in strategic projects, deciding how we're going to use data, how we're going to implement everything, whereas other people are more die-hard statistics or machine learning engineers. Other people are maybe even more the development side and integrating our models with the Salesforce platform and so on. So everybody kind of has its own expertise, and that's I think really cool about our team. Also in terms of industry, some people focus on retail or telco, you can kind of decide. The tools we use for that, as Philippe already said, each company kind of has its own favorite tools, so we use everything. We do projects in SAS, Python, and R, and obviously SQL as well. So that's kind of the main tools we use for our analytics projects. So that's a bit about our team. Maybe just to tell you about the services we offer in the Learn and the analytics team. We split it in 4 big pillars or 4 big areas. So first of all, there's enabling a full view of your customer. That's about getting to know who's your customer, what are the customer's needs, etc. Second one is activating the right customer. We also do a lot of optimization projects. And the last one is giving a voice to your customer. So there's a lot of like techniques we use for that, etc. But I thought instead of going over these techniques and saying what we do, it would be more interesting for you to know more tangible, some kind of examples of projects. So I've been working at 4C for about 4 years now, and I thought I'd just share you one project I've done in each pillar, let's say, so you can get an idea of what are the kind of projects we do. So really briefly, the last project I actually finished just last week was at Tango, which is it's the main telco operator in Luxembourg, and we did their customer value management project. So basically, they do a lot of predictive modeling, etc., and they're gonna define target groups based on propensity to buy, etc. But they don't really know what's a valuable customer or who are the most important customers in terms of value. So what we did is we built it's actually a collection of models that is gonna determine that value for each customer. So it's a combination of first doing a lot of workshops and interviews, so that's more the strategic side, what is important, what is a valuable customer, etc. Then we modeled the margin or the revenue for each customer, and we're gonna combine that with the survival probability for each customer. So a survival analysis model is kind of similar to a churn model, where you're gonna say, for example, which customer is gonna churn next month or next week or whatever. It's kind of a one-off decision or model. Whereas survival is more on a longer period of time. You're gonna estimate, for example, the survival probability for the next 3 years, and you're gonna have a probability each month. So it's more long-term than a churn model. Because typically a churn model is more what we do or what we classify under activate the right customer. That was actually my first project I did at Proximus. It was more a staffing project, so I was there for about 1.5 years, and I worked worked internally with the marketing analytics team at Proximus, where we did a lot of predictive modeling. So it went from churn modeling, which is in the telco industry actually the most important kind of model, because churn is really expensive for them, but also cross-sell and upsell modeling towards new services and etc. An example of an optimization project is what I did at Tush. Probably none of you have ever heard of that company. It's a retail company in Slovenia, so it's like Deleuze or Carrefour, but in Slovenia. And we did a stock optimization there. So stock optimization is really all about deciding how much stock to keep of each product in each store of all of, I think they had like 100 store. So how much stock do they have to keep at each day basically? And if they're out of stock or below a certain level, how much do they need to order? So it's a combination of forecasting sales, how much do I expect to sell, and an optimization about how much does it cost to keep more stock or to do more deliveries and more transportation. And then the last pillar is give a voice to your customer. There's this big trend also in data science that more and more of the data that's available for these companies is unstructured, mainly text. So people send a lot more messages toward the brands through email or web forms or social media, etc. But typically that data is not really analyzed yet. So maybe some people read it, but it's not analyzed in a structured way. So that's why we started developing our own NLP platform about one year and a half ago. We do that in a research project together with the KU Leuven. So it's a research project of 3 years. But now the first couple of really interesting models are finished, and we're looking to do the first proof of concepts and projects in that area as well. So that's the main services we offer. One last thing I wanted to share is that we realize that there's so many use cases in data science and analytics, also in the CRM industry, that and there's a lot of them that we can't really afford to. It's too expensive to start building each model completely custom for each customer. So for example, that's why we decided to also build some partnerships with really specialized AI software companies. For example, the first one is Digital Genius. I don't know if anyone heard of it, but it's a company that has an AI product for contact centers. So they are also specifically for that unstructured data. They have a solution for analyzing all the written messages that come into a service center, contact center, and either they're gonna help the service agent to classify the message, or they're gonna suggest a response. Or if the system is really confident, they're gonna even completely automate the process, for example, connecting to a backend system to do a refund of an order or something like that. So instead of building those NLP models from scratch, we're more kind of external solution engineers to do the implementation of the software at the company. So obviously to do all of these projects, and that's also why we're here to present ourselves, we need a lot of people. So currently we're both hiring senior profiles, so senior data scientists and junior data scientists. So if you're interested, sure, come talk to us after the show. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. I never had one of these. Okay, so my name is Christiane, and the reason why Philippe and Digitizer engaged me in this program is my experience in the recruitment sector. So I've been basically working in the recruitment industry for 10 years. So if I say recruitment industry, do you know what I mean by that? Does that ring a bell? So it's companies like Manpower, Adecco, and so on, whose job really is to find good candidates for companies who have job openings. And so I've worked in that industry for about 10 years. So I've seen thousands of CVs. I've helped thousands of candidates get interviews and prepared many, many candidates on how to have a good pitch, how to answer challenging questions, you know, how to highlight the things that are good in the CV, be able to justify the things that maybe are not that great. And so that's going to be my role here. My job is to help you find a great job for yourself. Not just any job, right? But the job you'd like, where you can really bring yourself in fully, and that the company also benefits from, of course. Always has to be both ways. And last year already, I gave some trainings on, you know, the elevator pitch, what are the tips and tricks, because one thing I never knew when I finished school, university 11 years ago, is that, okay, you talk differently to an HR manager than to a project manager, because they have different interests and different goals. So how do you really present each element in the best way? And so last year we gave a training on that, which was very successful. It helped people a lot, because it really helped them understand better what to say, practice it all, feel more comfortable in the interview itself. But there was one feedback that we got, which was that one thing that we should have improved, which is that, yeah, but you know, all of you have different backgrounds, right? And they said, well, I have my individual challenges, or you know, I have individual questions. So we decided this time I'd also provide some extra time for every single one of you, so that you can come to me for half an hour, ask specific questions, whether it's about your CV or how to present yourself, or maybe you already have an interview, how you can specifically prepare for that interview. So yeah, that's going to be my role. I'm going to be really excited to be working with you, help you find the best job possible. Do you have any questions so far? I guess that's a good thing. See you soon.
Christiana is based here, so you can see her every week.
Hi everyone, I'm Aurélien. I will be a bit quicker because I have no slide neither. So I'm Aurélien, I'm in charge of the data science unit at Reacfin. Reacfin is a consulting firm based in Louvain-la-Neuve, but we work a bit everywhere in Europe. We are around 30 consultants today, specialized in the financial industry, in insurance, and basically what we do on day-to-day is statistics, mathematics, applied to quantitative finance, to insurance. And 1 year ago, I arrived at Reacfin, and so we create the data science units, because mainly the market need new services around data subjects. So since 1 year now, we worked on this huge topic for insurance and finance companies. We worked on machine learning subject to predict pricing stuff for insurance, to predict reserving element. That's something technical we could discuss after if you want, but basically we do a lot of machine learning, quantitative machine learning. We also work a lot on NLP subject. We discussed just earlier about NLP topics. That's one of our biggest subjects at the moment at Reacfin. And so, yeah, basically it is. We work in Belgium, of course, because we are based in Belgium, but we also work in France. You probably recognize my very French accent. We work in UK, in Zurich also. And yeah, and so basically we are expanding the team, so we are looking for great guys to work with us. Last point, maybe I will give you a training in October dedicated to non-live pricing, so machine learning application, and analysis of natural disaster reports, so basically NLP stuff. And so yeah, we will have the opportunity to discuss again together. If you have any question, we will have also a table so that we can share ideas and other stuff. Thank you very much.
So our next speaker is participating in very fast and Duke is joining us basically as the older brother for the data scientist to be here when you have questions on practical things in data science. He will be like a senior coach working with us to make sure that you achieve the necessary skill set for now.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who are candidates for the bootcamp, I would like to say it will be a very exciting opportunity for most, as compared to my experience. I was lucky to be amongst the first batch of DataScience bootcampers here, and it has been worthwhile. It has been, I don't regret having done that, because I had the opportunity to take part in hackathons. Like there's also an upcoming hackathon, which I would encourage most of you to take part of it, because you would learn how to take data and make your own think about what you want to, what kind of information you want to get from data, and how would you be able to get this information. So it's we were able to take part in two hackathons, one of which the bootcampers team won, and that also helped us to get some exposure. And last year as well, I was also here with the second batch of the data science bootcamp, more like a big brother role, trying to give back, helping all the bootcampers with some inputs about the different programming tags that they had to enroll, different data science tags. And this time around, I'm coming to join again because I still feel like I want to give something back. And this time around, it's for the HIV hackathon. And yeah, I would, most of my role would be in like trying to help to make it work. And I'm looking forward to meet most of the boot campers, and feel free to interrupt me at any point in time if you have questions or you need some advice data science related. Thank you.
Okay. And Serge is one of the main drivers behind what we do with our data good activities, and he has had a lot of experience with the quality of the data scientists that come out of the data science weekend. Serge?
Oh, okay, thank you, Philippe. Welcome. It's a bit of a surprise that I'm here standing in front of you. I got to learn Philippe towards the end of 2015. And in the beginning of 2016, we started to think about a hackathon on dengue, which is a disease. And then in the middle of that year, middle of 2016, the first boot campers came on board with the Data Innovation Hub and what is now Digitizer. And a lot of those boot campers actually participated and helped out on making that hackathon a success. There were, including the boot campers, there were 60 people in the room for 36 hours working on that problem of trying to predict the dengue outbreak. It was such a success, and why was it a success? Because we got to learn new people, new bright young talent like yourself here. We got to learn new organizations whom we work with now today, and we didn't know them before the hackathon. And we spread the word about dengue, about our company, which is, I forgot to mention, Janssen Pharmaceutica, located in the north of Belgium, and which is part of Johnson & Johnson. It's a very large healthcare company in the US. So it was quite a success. And on top of that, we learned, Annelies Baptiste, who basically was the project leader on the digitizer side for the hackathon, she was noticed, and she applied for a job at Janssen, and she got hired. She's actually... Oh, well, yeah, I suggested that, so. But she got noticed, and I suggested that she applied for a job at Janssen, but she got hired. She's actually now in the US for training in the IT department. And that basically made the hackathon back then, and that towards the end of 2016, such a success, to the extent that my management said, that was great, now for real. Let's do one on HIV drug resistance, because HIV is a focus area and a passion for Janssen and Johnson & Johnson. So tonight we have a workshop, our 5th workshop coming up in preparation of the HIV drug resistance hackathon. If you can, please stay. If you're already here for it, thank you. And if you can, participate in that hackathon on the 23rd and 24th of November. Thank you. That's it.
Well, here we are to the end, and now the idea is that you mingle with each other, and also you contact 4C, and if you see Serge, you can talk to Serge, you can talk to Christina. Christina is she has a conference call, but she'll be back in about half an hour. Duke is here. I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here also to answer the questions about your part 2 of the bootcamp. So come to see me individually. I'll be sitting in that room there, and I hope you have a good evening, that you make good contacts, that you network with each other, and that you stay for our next event that will take place in about an hour and a half from now, and it's about, like Serge was mentioning, the HIV hack. Don't forget to keep an eye on the different activities that takes place here at Digitizer. There are a lot of activities. Today we had the European team of Daitaiku doing an introduction to data science here upstairs. Now we are doing the job fair. Tonight for the ladies, there is also a meetup from Our Ladies taking place here. So it's also the Our Ladies will be here with like 15 wild women talking about R and explaining visualization. So that's something that cannot be missed. And of course we do the exercises. And tonight we will be more specifically talk about the data that we found on HIV in Kenya. Kenya seems to be a very well organized, or to have a very well organized national health organization with lots of data, and then we will show the different data sets that we have found around that. So I wish you good networking. I wish you good conversation with your future employers here, and then come and see me if you want to talk about phase 2 of the project. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.